everybody. Well, good afternoon. We've done a midday webinar. Good afternoon. I hope you're all well and in the cool, in the shade, or in your salons. Great to have you with us today. Now, we have got a very important webinar coming up, and it's all about knowing your numbers. Now, this has been recorded, so if you do need to dash off or hop off, it's absolutely fine, no problem at all. We will share this with you either this evening or first thing tomorrow morning. It'll be in your inbox, or it will be on our private Facebook group. So if you do need to disappear, please do not worry. It is being recorded. Any questions that you have throughout, please pop them in our live chat box on Zoom. I've got myself, Sam, and I've got Cara with me today who will be taking through this presentation, along with Jenny, answering any questions that you have. I'm sure you'll be familiar with us by now. If you're not, you will be by the end of the webinar. Okay, so let's get started. Ready, Cara? Are we all good?
I'm ready. I'm good.
Right, okay, so what we will be covering today is the reviewing your salon costs and how you can work this out, and actually where at that £1. So when you have £1 going into your till, where that £1 actually goes on the salon costs that you have. The role that data plays, data is crucial. It is so important. So we're going to be looking at that, how that plays an important part in your business. Great data equals salon growth. KPIs we'll be going through as well, both team member and salon KPIs, how you can look at them, monitor them on Salon IQ. Data collection, again, another really important area that you need to be doing within your business, but how you can do that within Salon IQ we'll be taking you through. And then using data to make better business decisions moving forward. Well, sometimes we can make a decision just out of thin air. We think, right, this isn't working, let's try this instead. But if we actually look at data, analyze what's happening within our business, we can make better informed decisions moving forward. And then at the very end of the webinar, we've got a bit of an action plan and a success checklist. If you have got a pen and paper to hand, great. If you haven't, see if you can grab one. So we'll be doing a little exercise partway through as well. Again, if you haven't got time, you can do it at the end once you rewatch the webinar afterwards. So looking at this, so what are your salon costs? So some of you will already know this. You will know exactly where your £1 in your till is going. Some of you will be a little bit unsure. So what we have worked out with the salon that we have our own salon in Tunbridge Wells in Kent, and we work out these rough percentages here. So your rent rate should be no more than 12%. Your wages should be no more than 50%. So some will say it's too high, but achieving your wages, so basically having your wages below 50% is your target. Anything higher than that, then you're going to start eating into your stock spend, and other spends that you have. A good well-run salon should be aiming for a minimum of 12% net profit. And measuring and monitoring your team's performance is a must to achieve those four numbers. So looking at the pie chart here, just on the right-hand side of the screen, so you've got £1 in your till. Where does that £1 go based on those percentages? So 17p of that £1 would go to rent and rates. 7p of that £1 would be spent on your stock. 47p would be spent on your wages. 20p of that £1 would be going to your VAT. If you're VAT registered and you pay VAT, you've got 3p on profit out of that £1 and 5p there on other expenses. Screenshot it, take a photo, do as you wish. When I first saw this and worked it out, I just thought, my goodness me, that really, really puts it into perspective as to that £1 and where that actual money goes. And that 3p profit is such a fine margin there. You know, so if we are spending a little bit more than we should be, or we haven't got our budgets in place, we can really go over that and end up not even breaking even or even at a loss at times. But make sure you take a screenshot of that one. Okay, Cara? Right, so why do metrics matter? So data, as I said at the very beginning, it provides you with the evidence and facts that you need to support your business decisions. Quite often we make a business decision without really any firm evidence of why we're making that decision, other than a gut feeling sometimes. So rather than relying on their intuition or guesswork, data-driven decisions are based on solid insights and trends. So it helps you identify trends and patterns within your salon business overall, but also with your team members as well. It helps you understand your client behavior, how often they're coming in, what services they're using, what they're not using, what retail is popular, what's not popular, what your team members are using in the dispensary for their color. It helps improve operational efficiency. So it helps your systems and processes in the salon. And then it also, of course, helps you measure your team performance and your salon performance overall. Data is so important. What's really crucial is You know, we can often look at all this data, look at all these numbers, but then become a bit paralyzed. What do we actually do with that information? So we're going to take you through some key reports that you can be using just here. So identifying trends and patterns within Salon IQ on the Salon dashboard or the team dashboard, and we'll take you through it in a moment. You've got these fantastic reports, graphs, and a graph, we're creative people in our industry. Seeing these visuals instead of numbers can be better. We've got our average, we can see the average, we can see actually what is happening, that solid line there, that's our actuals. We've got the dotted line, which is our average on this particular salon for retail. We can see on the top left-hand corner, it's saying retail on the drop down. There's 13 KPIs you can look at a graph for on Salon IQ. It gives you a much better visual. So for retail, we can see overall, it's gone a downward trend. The average is decreasing over time. So work needs to be done there if retail is important for your business. Now, a team member scare sheet, it looks scary. There's an awful lot of numbers on here, but when you break it down, this is a 5-star report that you really should be using with your team. It really breaks down by month, your team members' performance, from the number of clients they're looking after, the number of new clients they're looking after, the requests clients they're getting. Then it also gives you the number of units, whether that be the number of colors, massages, facials, waxing services, and then the revenue as well. As you can see there, just hover around that bottom part, Cara, for me, the revenue part. There we go. So you've got the sales of shampoo, conditioner, styling products, and then you've got the very, very bottom, the total professional income there. So that's actual revenue that they're generating. It's a fantastic report. A little bit more of a breakdown on the next slide of this one. A little bit of a closer look. Cara, can we hop over to Salon IQ, show where it is, and then you can put your spin on how salons use this?
Yeah, so to get onto the report, we need to go onto the dashboard. If I can load it up. No, it's not letting me. There you go. Okay.
It doesn't matter how many times you trial this before.
I did it. I literally did it 2 seconds ago. There we go. To move into that one. Okay. So to get onto your trend reports, first thing we do is menu button on the left-hand side. And then we've got dashboard. So you've got your salon dashboard and your team dashboard. So I'm going to click on the team dashboard. You would then filter the date range of what you want to see on the dashboard. If you're looking at this week, I would recommend to click here at the very top where you've got the refresh button, and that'll just update all the data that you've got on the system right now. If not, we've got the drop down box up here and you can look at it weekly. So if I want to look at last week, I can just click on the date range and go through the weeks that I like, or you've got monthly, and then a great one here that you've got custom. So if you wanted to look at a 3-month period for that particular quarter, you would just go onto custom and you will pop in the date range. Also make sure that you do click on refresh to make sure that it's going to bring up the correct data. So you can see here, I've got a list of all of my employees. And if I want to go on and see how Shannon is doing, you'll have this, which is a great breakdown of that individual team member. Then when we scroll down, this will break down all of your services, what brands you've sold and what products you have used. And then going further down the bottom, this is where you get your graphs. So you can see here, you've got retail, you've got total clients, and then we've also got a different type of graph here. So some people don't like a graph like this, a trend graph. Some people will prefer a bar. And I think that's just visual of what we are used to.
It's just another way. If you're not, you know, if you're, we're creative people, as I said before, and if you prefer to look at graphs and you want to see the trends over looking at a grid of numbers, and this is a great thing to look at, is the graphs. And it gives you a good overall picture of the performance.
Yeah, it does. So you can do that for each individual team member, and that's just by clicking on their name and then scrolling to the bottom. You will need to wait about 10 seconds for it to update because it's looking at the figures instantly. So you need to make sure that you're getting that refresh going on the dashboard.
Brilliant. And can we look at the scare sheet as well?
Yeah, so the scare sheet, again, a little hidden button, I suppose, that a lot of people don't realize that it's there. We've got this print option here. and you should see these different options. So the first one we've got is this one that says print trend sheet report. So I am just going to load that one up. Again, you can filter the date range and you can put it on custom. You can email it to yourself as well here once you've had a look through. So once that loads up, because it's loading up my whole week, we should be able to then go through the graph. Should have chose a smaller date range.
Mm-hmm.
Let me try the other one.
And these are fantastic to use when you're doing one-to-ones with the team. It just gives you such an overview of their performance, and for them as well. Quite often, your team are really interested. They want to know how they're doing. It keeps them on track. It keeps them focused on the right numbers, and then they can see over time how they're doing. Are they getting better in a certain area? Are they perhaps struggling in a different area?
So this is your scare sheet. I'm just going to zoom in so you can see. So as you can see, I've got a different team member on each column. On the left-hand side, this is where it's given us our total clients, our total new clients, and our total requests. So you'll see in here that you've got the figures on the left-hand side, which is your units, and then on the right-hand side is your percentage. And then scrolling down even further, this is where you see all of your different categories. And this is what clients are wanting to see. I want to know each individual category, how many clients are getting this done? What is the percentage of my clients getting these particular services? So this is where you can really drum down into your categories.
Just a thumbs up in the chat. Is anyone using the scare sheet already? It'd be interesting to know if you are. I know that those that do love it, and they leave it quite. It'd be really good to know if you're using it. If you weren't aware of this report, just a thumbs up if you are would be really good to see.
And I think sometimes it takes time to get used to it, and everyone wants to see different things. Each salon and beauty salon wants to see different things. So it's just getting used to the actual report and highlighting the parts that you want to focus on. And then once you're used to it, I mean, we've got lots of clients going through these reports in detail because it's just giving you, as you can see, a lot more information.
Yeah, brilliant, great, thank you, Cara.
So this one is your trend report. Again, I'm going to zoom in a little bit more. So instead of this being on your team members, you've just got the dates at the very top. So you can see here, I've got the 29th of June, then you've got the 29th of May. So this is your trends. So it's showing you the trends that are on the dashboard. Again, they've got a lot of similar information. All of the figures are on here. You can see in here, if you're working on upselling treatments, you'll be able to see how many you've done on those set weeks. So you'll be able to see, are you getting a trend in a certain day of the month? So every Friday it seems to go up, but on a Monday they're really low. Yeah, and then towards the bottom, you've got your rebookings, your care factor, and your retail units as well.
And just seeing those months there all in one, you can just see that 56, 54%. You can see whether you're increasing or decreasing just from one screenshot. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
Definite one to use just to keep an eye on those trends and patterns. Fabulous. Thank you, Cara. So understanding your client behavior, again, it's another really great way that you can, and when looking at data, when looking at patterns, you can see how your clients are performing, what they're like. It also helps you build strong relationships and helps you deliver a better customer service and customer experience. Now, there's a few ways, as you will all know, I'm sure, not wanting to teach you to suck eggs here, but active listening. As we all know, whenever our clients come into the salon, that really in-depth consultation, we listen. We know we speak very little, but we listen to what that client is telling us. Surveys and feedback are crucial. So many, Cara, I know that you set up a couple of surveys for some salons a few weeks ago. So many of us still don't ask for feedback.
Yeah.
Or we don't send out surveys. How do we know where we need to improve and get better, or where we're actually doing really well on, if we're not sending out surveys or getting that client feedback? So it's a really important way to listen to our clients. Observing patterns in tailored services. Again, looking at the scare sheet for our salon, our team members, if we can see that we're really we've only sold or done 10 treatments, and the month before we did 50 or 60 treatments, then maybe we need to tailor our services a little bit more and customize it to the client's needs. Are we just doing a facial and then moving on, or are we doing that facial and realizing actually you also really could benefit from this additional service with your facial? It's just really tailoring and working out, you know, how your clients behave and building that strong relationship with them. So improving your salon systems. So mastering salon systems in your salon can lead to much better client experiences, high productivity for your team, and increased profitability. We've got some strategies and ways that you can do that. So training your team regularly. I'm not sure about you, but when I was working in a salon not so long ago, whenever we did, we had a training or workshop from our product rep, I would always find that the salon retail figures would increase, they'd spike. Because it's fresh in our heads, we're focused on the products, we know the ingredients, we know the benefits, it's really, really current. And we'll all do really, really well on selling home care. But then that, over time, that tapers off, and then the retail goes back to where it was. It's really important to keep your team focused and keep, you know, training workshops, whether that's internal, because you want to keep the costs down, or if you want to send them to workshops, then please look at that. There's so much help out there. Optimizing your appointment book. So looking at the utilization, there you go, Cara, your first one I was thrown in. It's not planned for this webinar, but I think it's important. So optimizing your appointment book. So looking at the utilization percentages for your salon and your team members is key to optimizing your appointment book. And I'll go through this in a bit more detail, but it will help you see trends and patterns. Where are your clients booking more often? Where do you have space where you always have blank appointments? Have you looked to see that actually a Thursday afternoon, we're always quiet? A Tuesday morning, actually, we always have colours in on a Tuesday morning. So really optimizing your appointment book there. Embrace automation to keep in touch. Back one slide, Cara, please.
I'll do very good with my slides today.
And so embracing automation to keep in touch. Again, building that relationship, keep that communication going. We've got the guest retention system, which works really, really well. We discussed that on our previous webinar and at our live event in Birmingham last month. So many are using that now. And then managing your time and team productivity. Again, that's going to fall into utilization, which we'll look at again in just a moment. Right, so how can we measure performance in Salon IQ? We've gone through scare sheets, we've gone through the graphs. There's still an awful lot more that you can look at in Salon IQ to help you. It's at your fingertips 24/7. Your income projection is key. So your income projection is looking at what have you got booked in this week? What's your projection? What are you looking to finish on with the appointments that you've got booked in for this week? So that's not looking at any new appointments, no upsells, and no retail sales. What have you got booked in right now? Stars and flags, again, so many don't use this, but they are fantastic. And Cara's going to take us through stars and flags in a moment. Really good for your team. Monitoring your retail sales to boost retail where you need to. And then the utilization there, we're going to look at the utilization dashboard in a moment. Now, on the next slide, we've got our key performance indicators, which is KPIs. There are over 30 KPIs on the Salon dashboard that you can look at, maybe even more now. And then we've got 13 on the graphs and trends. Don't look at them all. Do not look at them all at once. Sometimes after a session like this, or if you have a salon coach, you know, just focus on three, just three key KPIs that you think that your business needs. If your retail is really, really poor and you want to boost that, then that would be one of them. If your rebooking percentage is below 50%, then make that another one. If your average frequency is at 18 weeks, so you've got 18 weeks between each client coming in to your salon, make that your next one. Don't take on 10 because you'll overwhelm yourself, you'll overwhelm your team, and actually you won't give as good a results as if you just focused on 3 at any one time. When you've got those 3 nailed, then move on to your next 3. I've just pulled up some here, just for the purpose of this webinar. We do actually share benchmark KPIs for hair, beauty, and barbers every single month on our private Facebook group. It gives you a rough idea of what the industry is doing. But just looking at this, we've got new client retention. So 32% what system do you have in place to nurture new clients? We've got late cancellations. Quite often we focus on no-shows, and we always have done, focus on no-shows. But actually, our late cancellations cost us just as much in business and lost revenue. How many late cancellations are you getting? How many did you have yesterday? If you don't know, we've got a report, Cara, sorry. We're going to quickly look at the cancellation report as well. But you should know how many cancellations you're getting. They're just as bad as no-shows. You can't fill that space. It's too late. You can't fill that appointment space. So managing your no-shows, they need to be no higher than 2%. If they're higher than 2%, you've got a problem, and we can help you to help you bring that down. So we'll look at that again in a moment, show you where your no-show percentages. If you're not monitoring it, then have a look. If it's higher than 2%, reach out to us, and we've got some methods that work, tried and tested, to help you get that down. Tracking your care factor. Some don't know what care factor is. Care factor is how many clients you're selling retail to. So if I've got 10 clients in today, and 5 of those clients have taken a retail product with them, I've got a 50% care factor. Half of those clients have walked away with the product. It could be that they've walked away with 2 each. It's still 50%. So again, another really important one. And the service popularity, your service ranking. So what are your most popular services? And are they the ones that drive your profit? That's a really, really good one to look at. We've got a service ranking report, which will give you that data. It will give you that information. It will tell you that you're doing 20 facials, or it will tell you you're doing 15 cut and blow dries. But actually, the profit on that is very low, potentially, depending on how you've got your costing set up. It's really important to review, but focus on just 3 to start with, and then move on. So, Cara, can we quickly flick over now back to Salon IQ?
If I can.
And if we can look at the where we input the KPIs, where the stars and flags is one we look at.
Okay, so I'm gonna show how you can make your KPIs bespoke for your business, and a lot of people don't know that you can do this. So if we go onto the menu button, then go to settings and then global settings. In here, you can customize your KPIs. So you'll see here that I've got service KPI 1, and I've got mine looking at colours. I've got service KPI 2, which is looking at treatments. And then you can add your own third one, which will be, I could say, beauty waxing. And they're the 3 key areas that I want to work on for this next quarter. Once you've saved that, you can then go into your team member settings and give your team the set targets. So to do so, you can go onto the appointment page, you can left click on the team member's name, and we go to where it says edit team member. In here, I'm going to click on the left-hand side where it says KPIs, and you've got 2 different targets. So on the left-hand side, we say this is your max. This is what we want the team member to be hitting. And then on the right-hand side, we've got the minimum target. And this is what your employees should be bringing in on a regular basis. 1, to cover their wages, to cover your costs, and to cover all of your expenses as well.
An absolute minimum.
Absolute minimum, yeah. Yeah, and it's great, and you can talk to your team members about this. You know, you get paid this month, this much per week. This is what is expected of you to bring into the salon on a weekly basis. On this side is the stretch, and what I always tend to choose is what's the figure that's going to take them to their commission. Because once they get to that point, that's when they start pushing themselves a lot more, because they know that they've hit their commission target. Then the same, you've got your retail target, but as Sam said, you don't need to work on every single one. It's going through each individual one and choosing what you want to work on. And then this is where you've got your individual. So I've added on, I want to work on the color percentage, the treatment percentage, and the waxing percentage. So they're the ones that are bespoke to your salon. You can change them in global settings like I've just shown you before. So once you've actually set up your KPIs, the first thing is your team member can left click on their name, go to show my dashboard, and they will be able to see their own figures. Now, I love this. You can see the lollipops. It's pretty easy to understand. So you can see here, we'll work on the services. So services so far that they've done is 425. Their potential, which is what is physically booked in the salon for this week, is 1565. So you'll see here the green bar is showing the service taken so far. The red lollipop is saying absolute minimum that Shannon needs to bring in is 900. And then you can see the max is 1496. And they've gone over that because the potential is over 1496. And that can vary over the week. So it can go up, but it can also go down. Couple of reasons why it can go down, as Sam said, late cancellations or any no-shows that will make your bar go down. And the other reason that it can go down is because of promotions. So you might be doing a promotion in your salon this week, and you're only adding in the promotion on the checkout screen. What I would advise you to do is actually attach the promotion to the appointment. And if you attach the promotion to the appointment, it will change the potential. So if I've got £100 worth of promotions booked in this week, mine would say 1465. So it'd actually bring it down so you can see exactly what's going to come through the door.
So Cara, we just mentioned there about salon systems. A really good system to implement and have in place, if you haven't already, is to apply that promotion at the time of booking.
Yes, yes.
And then you'll get an accurate reading when you're looking at these figures here.
And if nobody knows how to do that, you would just book the appointment in as normal. When you click on the appointment, on the bottom of the appointment, we click on where it says show more. And then you will be able to see in here the button that says promotions. You would click on promotions, you would select whichever one that applies to it, and you would click on save. Once you do that, it will update your dashboard figures, which is great because I do get phone calls sometimes saying, why was it £100 more yesterday and now it's £100 less? So that's for your team members. And then for you as a business, if we go to dashboard and then we go to team dashboard, again, this can look overwhelming sometimes because there's a lot of figures on there to look at. Now, you will have the 3 little dots in the top right-hand side, if you can see me hovering over here. And you can pick and choose. You can pick and choose what you want to see. So if I'm not interested in particular things, so I'm not working on my treatments, I can just add and remove what I want to see. The one thing I'd say have on at all times are these stars and flags. Always have these on. Now, a flag will mean that the team member is not hitting these 3 particular targets that I've set up for them. And the stars mean that they have hit these KPIs. Now, again, another question that we get is at the beginning of the week, you're always going to have a lot of red flags because it's the beginning of the week and you'll have less stars. But as the week goes on, you should then start getting more stars and less flags. And then I can see here, it's a Thursday. Karen's still not hit her retail, her rebooking, or her client count. Then I can have a chat with Karen and say, what can we do to help to get you to hit your target this week?
And bearing in mind here, when you're looking at your team member KPIs, it could be that each of your team members focus on different KPIs depending on what they're already performing well in and what they're struggling in. So just looking at as an example here, you know, Karen here is retail, rebooking rate and client count, whereas actually Jess, you know, might not need to focus on retail and rebookings. So it's going to vary depending on each team member as well.
And you can have different ones for different team members. So if you don't want someone to have a retail target, then just leave it on 0. So you can do different ones for different team members. And just to show, when you're hovering over your services here, again, it will show you the income projection per team member. And then from earlier, if we want to go into it a little bit more, I'm just clicking on Shannon's name and it's giving me the information. So everything you really need to know about that team member, the figures that they're bringing in, will be on the dashboard.
And Cara, just to confirm, the team members can see their own as well, can't they, with the stars and flags? So they can look at this themselves independently.
They can. So there's 2 options when they hover over their own name in the system. So the first one is show mini dashboard, and that is going to be just a small breakdown that we went through before, or you've got this option here where it says show my dashboard. Now, when they log in on their show my dashboard, I'm in as super user. But when they go on to show team dashboard, they will only get to see themselves on here. Obviously, I can see all of them because I've got access to all team members, but they will only be able to see themselves.
Yeah. To review your cancellation report, that's reviewing the report suite that we've got. So it's menu and then reports. And you've got the search bar, which if you want to look for a report, because there are over 100 that we've got now.
Yeah.
You search cancellation, or you go straight to the appointments tab, which Cara's done.
And I should say the cancellations, it is really important to be marking the clients as a late cancellation. So you can see on their record card, how many times have they called, 24 hours before their appointment and changed it to 2 weeks later or cancelled completely. So this report here, so you'll see in here that we've got a list of the guest name, the service that they were booked in for. It's in red here because that particular client hasn't done a rebooking date. So I can see that they've just totally cancelled out the system and they've not rebooked their appointments. If the client has rebooked, you will also see the rebooking date here. So it's really important to go through all of this and to make sure that the clients, one, that if they are cancelling, that they are rebooking back in. And if you're getting some regulars doing it all the time as well.
Okay. I know you're going to shoot me after this webinar, but can we look at the utilization dashboard? Well, the utilization dashboard, Cara's going to load it up now. It does take a little while to load purely because it's pulling through and drawing a lot of data. It looks at all team members and it can look at a whole week as well. It breaks down each element of clients. So we can, this is actually really good just to look at that top left-hand corner box. So the number of clients we've got, and then the active clients. We class as an active client that they've had at least 2 visits, 2 appointments that have checked out in the last year. It's a really important one to look at. It might well surprise you every time.
Once you've loaded the utilization dashboard, as you can see, you do get, because it's looking at the live data, but once you've loaded it once that day and you keep going into it, it will be much quicker. So you can see here, you've got your total clients in the database, you've got your services, you've got your client count, your internet bookings, and then you've got the white space. And you can really drum into this, you can really drum it down. So at the moment, when I'm looking at it, I'm looking at all team members. I'm looking at all my team members. And this is where you can see your busy days against your not so busy days. And you can see on here on Tuesday, we're 59% booked. Those bookings were made in the salon. That's why it's showing in blue. Then we've got 10% of bookings on Tuesday were made via online booking. Then you've got your 3% here, and that's from any campaigns that you're sending out. So that's any of your automated campaigns, your birthdays, your guest retention, and so on. So you've got that there. And then you've also got your white space. So lots of information on every single day about this as well. And again, you will see this change throughout the week once clients start making their bookings.
You see, what I would actually do here, Cara, and obviously on the webinar, we're pushed for time, but I'd actually look at this. This is a week. I'd go back and I'd look at the previous week. And actually Thursdays, just looking at this week, that Thursday, I've got 46% of availability on Thursday. If I look at my previous week, is it about the same? Am I noticing a pattern here or a trend that actually Thursdays are a quieter day for us in the salon? And then that will bring up some other questions. Do I need all of my team in at the same time when my gets really, really quiet? So you can start to ask yourself questions and make better business decisions by looking at this data.
Yeah, and you can break it down. If I know there's a lot to go into the utilization, but I just clicked on one of the graphs for Tuesday and it's broken it down via team member. So we can see clearly Shannon's smashing it on the Tuesday. They're absolutely brilliant. And then you've got Tallulah, they're almost fully booked. And then we're looking at Pam. She's not the one. Is that a pattern? Is it every Tuesday that Pam's not got the same amount of people in? So you can do it that way. And you can also break it down by team member. So you can see in here, if I just want to really look at one individual and see what their utilization is, you can see it all in this dashboard. One question before we get it in the comments, because we always do when it comes to utilization. Yes, you can exclude some team members from the utilization dashboard. To do that, all we do is we're going to go on to, say, Stacey, we're going to edit team member. And then we've got this toggle here to put on to exclude from the utilization. So you might want to do any apprentices, any receptionists that you've got on there, even yourself if you don't want to show on the utilization, and that will remove them from your figures.
And I guess that's really going to give us a truer overall utilization percentage of how busy my salon is overall, based on the team that can do the actual appointments. Receptionists can't, I can't, for example.
Yeah. Question time.
Brilliant. Okay, so again, just a little bit of interaction from you before we move into our exercise. What KPIs are you tracking at the moment? If you could pop it in the chat as to what you're actually tracking, we'd really love to know. Generally, as a general rule, we follow on a monthly basis the average retail sales, average service sales, and rebooking percentage is really important, because the rebooking percentage is your future business.
Mm-hmm.
The rebooking is a really key one. Is there anyone there that you think, oh my goodness, if I didn't track this particular KPI, I don't know what I would do. I have to have that visibility. It'd be really good to get your feedback on what you're actually tracking. So while we've got comments going in there, Cara, should we switch over to the next slide, see if we get any coming through? Okay, a SWOT analysis. Again, some of you might have heard of a SWOT analysis, some wouldn't. Heard of a SWOT analysis. It looks at your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats for your salon business. We've put a few examples here. It's a really good exercise to do. And I'd probably do this at least once a quarter. So once every 3 months, I'll do a SWOT analysis on your salon business. And again, it helps you just look at the business. A lot of the time we spend our time working in the business. We're doing the hair, we're doing the facials, we're doing the massages, and we're not working on the business. So just looking at some examples here. If you've got a pen and paper, draw yourself a cross, a bit like a hot cross bun. So you've got 4 squares. And similar to this, you've got strengths, top left, opportunities on the right, bottom left, you're popping down weaknesses, and so bottom left, and then bottom right, you've got your threats. So your strengths, so internal positive attributes. Maybe you've got skilled staff. Maybe your team are on top form. Maybe that's a strength for you right now. Maybe you've got some really loyal clients in your salon business. Is that a strength? Do you know your next 3 months service targets and retail targets? Is that a strength? Have you got a really good productive social marketing campaign happening right now? Is that a strength? What opportunities do you have? So that's looking at external factors that could be, you know, a positive thing for your salon. Are there new beauty trends? Are there new hair trends that you can jump on top of? Well, did you have a meeting with a supplier a couple of months ago and actually think that's a really good opportunity? I just need to focus on it and get on board with that as a really good opportunity. Perhaps there's an opportunity for workshops or education with your team. Or there's an opportunity for you to use a certain part of Salon IQ more. Weaknesses. A lot of the time, this is what we focus on. We focus on a lot of weaknesses and the negative within our salon business. So what are the negative factors? Do we need to update hair dryers? Do we need to update our massage machines? Are we needing to increase our space, or do we need a renovation? Is there a weakness there that, or we've got a team member that's just not quite doing what we want them to do? Are they a weakness? And what are our threats? Have we got new salons opening? Have we got new services or product lines that we really want to invest in, but we can't, but the other salons are doing it? What is a threat to your business right now? Are you wanting to do a marketing campaign, but you feel like you haven't got the spend to do it? Is that a threat? It's really important to do this exercise. And when you do it every 3 months, you'll realize that different things will come up on here, and it will highlight different areas of your business for you. But what it also does is it helps you focus on perhaps those weaknesses or threats. Again, don't try and do it all at once. Just take one element from it and work on that one element. Cara, have you got anything there on the SWOT analysis?
I think as well with the SWOT analysis, it doesn't have to just be the business owner. I mean, we've done it ourselves at Salon IQ, haven't we? And it's been such a good learning thing for the team. So you sharing within the team that you've got, what are our strengths? They will have their own comments as well. And sometimes they really think of things that we wouldn't have thought of, because they're looking from outside the business, because they're, you know, on the floor most of the time. So I think sharing it with the team as well well is definitely something that you can do for a task for the SWOT analysis, and you'd be surprised what comes up.
A great exercise. I actually did this with one of our team meetings at Salon IQ. So if you do have a team meeting once a week, maybe do this. Get your whiteboard, get a big bit of paper if you haven't got a whiteboard, pop it on a mirror or the wall, and do your grid and do your strengths, opportunities, weaknesses, and threats.
Mm-hmm.
And get
And
your
it ends up
teams
a
into it.
therapy session.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great exercise to do. So collecting and analysing your data, we're going to look at a couple more reports. So you're monitoring your graphs, you've got your 3 KPIs to focus on. Now you need to make sure that what you're focusing on is changing and making a difference. We've got our benchmark report that we can look at. It's showing the potential hours that we've got available. So if I've got 5 team members working this week, that gives me 70 hours of bookings that I can have my clients book in for. And then the team performance chart, again, another fantastic one that Cara's going to switch over to in a moment and share with us her experience on that one. Can we switch over now, Cara, to those reports? Is that all right?
Yeah, of course, of course. You just like me switching from slides to Salon IQ.
Sorry.
So we're going to go to reports. And yet, don't forget, as Sam mentioned here, I think a lot of people go, oh, I can't find these reports. You do have this search bar. So if I just click in here and put Ben for bench, you'll see that the benchmark report just comes up straight away. So we'll click on the benchmark report. Again, you can filter this by a date range. You can also have it including VAT as well if you want to. And it basically breaks down each team member, and it's looking at the potential hours that you've got them rostered for in the diary. How many hours of those are booked? What's the percentage of that? What retention have you got for new clients and for all clients? Your average retail, your average services, your rebookings and your care factor. So it's one report that will have all of your team members on here. So don't forget to press that you've got up here, you've got your including VAT, and you can change the figures to how you want to view them. So that's a really great report to use. The other one is the team performance chart. So under here, under team, we've got one that says team performance chart. Now, it's pretty similar to the one that's on the dashboard, but the difference with this is it's showing you all of the team members at the same time. Again, you can run the date range in here. You've got your drop down box at the very top. So you've got retail, total clients, average bill. And then you'll see down here that we've got it in bar graph form. So you'll see that this is Shannon. They've made £425 in services. This is Karen. And this is great to see like who's bringing in more within the salon. So you'll be able to see in here who's bringing in what for each particular service.
A fantastic visual.
Yeah, it's a really good visual. Yeah, and it's great because sometimes I don't want to look at numbers. I just want to look at my retail sales. I want to see it in a bar graph. You can just change it in here. It will update and then you'll be able to see in here. So you can see, obviously, Sharon and Karen are the only ones that are selling this week. Very quick reports to run.
Brilliant. Okay, so really, really focused on this session about, using data to improve your salon performance. Sometimes, obviously your gut tells you an awful lot, but use your data, use your trends and your patterns and your graph just to back up that feeling. And your 4 key areas which you can help that is your performance measurement, obviously your KPIs, we discussed that today, your goal setting and tracking, so you can really see what you've done. How are you performing for the team, for the salon? And then you can goal set a lot better and a lot more productively. Efficiency, we discussed salon systems. Look at your utilization. Are there areas where you need to be reducing your team members or changing the working shifts? Maybe you need more team members in on a Friday evening than you do a Thursday evening. And then, of course, client satisfaction. Getting that client feedback, it's such important data. I think Salon Spy shared with us, Cara, with the client feedback, that naturally, when we're looking for reviews and feedback online, if a review is older than 3 months, we blank it and we ignore it. Only look at reviews that are within 3 months old. Is that right? That's what he said.
Yeah, that's correct. Because it's the same as at the end, the way he mentioned it was when you search something on Google, you never go to page 2. You will always only stick on page 1, and that's what clients are doing.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. And again, this is just to confirm what we've done. So, what could your data be telling you? Schedule more staffing on a Saturday to reduce wait times and serve more clients. It could be telling you to upsell special services or add on particular treatments that you're not doing currently. It could be telling you to encourage clients to use their loyalty points on a Tuesday and Friday, or do a bonus loyalty point scheme on particular days to get them busier. There's just some ideas and things that the data could be telling you if you're looking at it correctly, and then taking action points from it. So offer weekday promotions to spread out appointments more evenly throughout the week. I think a few years ago, we would have had that problem a lot more than what we do now. I think when we were maybe 4 or 5 years ago, it was still really quite busy on a Saturday. We would always be open on a Saturday, whereas now we have salons that are closed on a Saturday, which is you wouldn't unheard of, but that's what happens now. We don't even have late nights sometimes anymore. We close 3 days in a row, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. There's so many different things that are happening, but what is your data telling you about your salon?
There's a lot more shift patterns happening now as well, where people work every other Saturday or every other Thursday. Yeah, 4-day week. So they're working, some people prefer to work 10 hours in one day. So it's just analysing the data on your software and thinking, what changes can I make to make yourself more efficient?
So the checklist for success, again, it's recorded, but if you're pushed for time, take a screenshot of this. We've got 4 key areas for your checklist. So define your objectives, identify what you want to achieve for the data tracking and analysis. Don't just track and look at data and numbers for the sake of it. What do you want to get from it? What do you want to learn? What do you want to see? And what do you want to change and grow? So have a think about what your objectives are for looking at your data and your reporting. Identify key metrics and KPIs. So determine what KPIs you want to track and follow. Don't choose 3 to 5. I say 3 to start with, but no more than 5. What does your business need to really focus on? And what you focus on, as we know, grows. Collect, organize, and analyze data. There are over 100 reports on Salon IQ. You do not need to look at half of them. There are some key reports there that you will need to look at on a regular basis, whether that be monthly, weekly, or fortnightly. And that goes for your team as well. So decide what your business needs, what are the KPIs, and what reports will help you track and monitor those KPIs that you want to focus on. And then make data-driven decisions following that. So use the insights to make informed decisions. You've got a gut feeling, look at the data. Does it to support that feeling? Yes, it does. Make that decision. So a checklist for success, use those 4 points there from this webinar, screenshot it, rewatch it later on if you want to. Please no more than 3 KPIs. If it's something you're not used to doing, focus on 3 and then go from there. If you have any questions on this at all, please reach out to us and we can help you. I really want to focus on this, Sam or Cara. What report would help me with this? We will give it to you, and the support team will give it to you as well. Our next webinar coming up is in a few weeks' time. It's on Wednesday, the 3rd of July at 10 a.m. And it's about attracting new clients into our salon. We all need and love new clients. How can we do it? And when we do, how can we give them the best welcome that they'll never forget so they turn into loyal, regular clients? I think that's it for now. Jenny, any questions? I think we're all good.
No, everyone's really quiet.
Yeah, no, it's good. Everyone's quiet today.
Well, look, thank you so much for everyone for joining. Keep an eye out for the connecting link for the 3rd of July. Any questions, you know where we are. Our email address you can do is it's help, HELP, @saloniq.com. We have a whole team of people and experts with so much knowledge that can help you for any questions that you have. Thank you so much for joining, and we will see you all again very soon.